Amara stood alone in the dim hallway of the boarding school dormitory, her small fingers trembling as she held her phone close to her chest. The light above her flickered weakly, casting long shadows behind her. In a broken whisper, she called her mother. She told her mommy, in a voice so fragile it almost disappeared into the night, that she wanted to come home. Her mother, Grace, immediately heard the fear in her daughter's voice. She asked what had happened. She asked if someone had hurt her. But before Amara could explain, she heard footsteps approaching from behind. A male voice called her name firmly. Amara's breathing changed. It became sharp, uneven. She told her mother she did not feel safe. And then, the phone slipped from her hand. The call ended, and silence swallowed everything. That was the last time Grace heard her daughter's voice before the world shifted. But to understand what happened that night, we have to go back 4 weeks earlier. Before fear entered their lives, the Okafor family was just like any other modest family in Lagos. Grace was in the kitchen, stirring a pot of soup, reminding Amara not to forget her mathematics test the next day. Amara, sitting at the small dining table in her oversized hoodie, responded dramatically that she wasn't a baby anymore. Her father, David, laughed softly and told her that no matter how big she got, she would always be their baby. That evening felt normal, safe. Amara even said, half joking and half dreaming, that one day she would attend the big school in Abuja. She said it with bright eyes and a playful confidence. Her parents smiled. They didn't know that sometimes the things we wish for most arrive in ways we never expect. 2 days later, a letter arrived. A thick envelope with a gold seal. David opened it slowly, while Grace stood beside him, wiping her hands nervously on her wrapper. As he read the words aloud, his voice began to shake. Their daughter had been awarded a full academic scholarship to Royal Crest Academy in Abuja. Full tuition, full boarding, everything covered. Amara screamed with excitement. She jumped into her mother's arms, laughing, crying, thanking God. But Grace did not celebrate immediately. In a quieter tone, she mentioned that they had never applied to such a school. David tried to reassure her. The letter explained that Amara had been selected based on her outstanding academic performance in state exams. It sounded official. It sounded prestigious. It sounded like favor. But Grace felt something small and uncomfortable settle in her chest. Still, hope is powerful. And sometimes, hope is louder than instinct. The day they arrived at Royal Crest Academy, Amara could barely contain herself. The school was enormous. Glass buildings reflected sunlight. Perfect green lawns stretched across the compound. It looked like something out of a dream. Principal Harrison welcomed them personally. He shook David's hand firmly and praised Amara's brilliance. He spoke smoothly, calmly, confidently. He told them the school nurtured excellence and protected its investments. And when he looked directly at Amara, he added that the academy expected loyalty. At the time, the word sounded harmless, professional, normal. But words sometimes carry meanings we only understand later. Grace felt slightly uneasy, though she could not explain why. Still, she hugged her daughter tightly before leaving her at the dormitory gates. She reminded her to call every day. Amara laughed and assured her she would be fine. She had no idea that this goodbye would feel different soon. That first night, Amara met her roommate, a quiet girl named Lara. Amara introduced herself cheerfully, explaining that she had just arrived on scholarship. Lara studied her carefully before responding in a low voice that she already knew who she was. Apparently, the school had announced the new scholarship student earlier that day. Amara laughed nervously, brushing it off as nothing. But Lara did not laugh. Instead, she told Amara in a tone that felt heavier than it should have to be careful. When Amara asked her what she meant, Lara simply repeated herself. Be careful. The room fell silent after that, and although nothing had happened yet, something had already begun.